tutaj. Sobie tutaj to udostępnimy na Facebookach. Na Facebookach. Kontynuuj. Proszę. To pójdzie. Dobra. Ostatnio jakieś psikusy robiły komputery i internety, ale może tym razem dalej robią psikusy. Dalej robią psikusy. Dobra, jest. OK. Dobry wieczór wszystkim. Na chyba jak dotąd największej degustacji poświęconej rumom, pomijając już fakt samej formuły, samego line-upu, gdzie skupiamy się głównie na rumach niestarzonych, ale w tej ilości oraz zarówno próbek, jak i poszczególnych próbek, to chyba pierwszy raz tak jest, także jesteście bohaterami tego spotkania, ewidentnie. Co, zaczynamy w takim układzie. Joshua już myślę, że bardzo dobrze znacie. Może opowie on troszeczkę jeszcze raz o swojej historii, a na pewno o projekcie. Więc nie chcąc Was dłużej przytrzymywać, a jeszcze raz uczę na czat, jaką mamy kolejność próbek, bo parę osób do nas dołączyło w międzyczasie. Więc zacznijmy. Joshua, this is your turn now. Say something about the project, about the company, about you again.
Yeah.
I thought to everyone that you are a very known person. But maybe someone here is new. So just repeat it, and that's it.
I will. Thank you for coming, everybody. There's a few of you I already know from the past, of course, other online tastings, or even met a few of you in person. But yeah, thank you for joining us. As we spoke about in the beginning, we have 11 rums tonight. Take it easy. There is no reason to rush. Make sure you get a little bit of water in between. Otherwise, it's going to be a hard day at work tomorrow. But yeah, my name is Joshua. I am one of the owners and founders of the Danish company 1423. And we are a rum company. We do almost everything when it comes to rum, except for the actual distillation. Otherwise, we blend, we bottle, we age it ourselves here in our warehouse in Denmark, basically everything. Today, we are only going to be talking about almost pure distillates, you could say. Everything is unaged rum. The only thing we've done to them is dilute them all to 57%. And this gives us the opportunity to basically try the clear style or the clear distillate from the different distilleries we are working with. I'm going to share my screen in a moment. I prepared a small presentation for us to go through. But if you have any questions during our little session here this evening, put them in the chat, or if you don't mind your voice coming out, then, unmute yourself and we'll take some questions as we go along. Otherwise, we'll also have at the end, we'll take a short session where you can ask questions about your favorites or about rum in general. All good?
Yeah, sure.
Now, I know Chris sent out an email in advance where he also suggested that you spend some of the rum in advance and do some daiquiris with during the week. to try the rum in a short cocktail. Did some of you try that, or did you save all of it for tonight?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not
Yeah.
sure because I have to buy 4 or 5 more bottles because many people want to join our tasting. So
Ah,
they
okay.
got their samples sets on Thursday or Friday, some of them on Saturday. So I think they didn't have the time to do that.
Ah,
So
okay.
I hope they will do it the next 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 weeks. Let's
Yeah,
see.
good.
But no rush here
Yeah,
because some of guys here was on our last year daiquiri competition.
yeah.
I think Derek, Jacek, Pedro. I'm not sure anyone else.
Then you guys already know a couple of them, then for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would suggest that you save a little bit of the rum, either to try and drink it again later or to try it in a daiquiri. Don't drink all of it tonight. It's quite a lot of rum, especially at this alcohol. You can if you want. But yeah, I am gonna share my screen now, Chris, if you will allow me.
Yeah, sure. You got it?
I think so, yeah. And let's see. Can you all see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. So, Chris, again, thank you for organizing. You and me are both big lovers of white rum. I know that very well. We've spoken about it many, many times in the past, and of course, especially together with your daiquiri contest that you do every year, which is, I have to say, quite an undertaking you're doing. So, hats off for that. That's an amazing job you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Today, we're going to be speaking about SBS origins. Now, SBS origins actually kind of started from what we call just SBS or single barrel selection. Now, as a rum company, we have been aging rum in our own warehouse here in Denmark since 2016. That is also when we released the first SBS bottles. Since then, we have done around 210 different editions. We have a few new coming to market actually this week. But together, all of them are aged rum, all of them from a single barrel. But part of what we do is that we travel the world, or we are lucky enough today that we have a known company, so people send us samples from different distilleries. We buy up the most interesting rum we can find, and we ship it home to Denmark. Now, a lot of the rum we buy is not always aged. We also buy the unaged distillates and we bring it home to Denmark where we use it for aging. So the idea for SBS Origins that we are tasting tonight literally came from here. We wanted to give everybody the opportunity to try the original distillate, the original profile of the distillery before we start to get any wood influence. We've chosen 11 different rums for the project so far, all of them bottled at 57%, and all of them are distillates that we find special in some sense. Usually we choose the ones for origin specifically for their heavy profile and heavy flavors, but we're going to try that in a second. We're going to jump in to the first rum. Now I'm going to give a small presentation for each of the rums that we're going to try tonight. But I'd love if you all come and join in with comments about the different versions. Even though they are all white rum, I think everybody who was part of our group tonight, Chris, I imagine that they are somewhat experienced rum drinkers. So they've moved on from just Bacardi and Havana Club. But there is, in the world of rum, there is not that many geeks like me and Chris and some of you people who are joining us tonight. A lot of people, when they think about rum, all they think about is Bacardi, maybe even Captain Morgan. What we're trying to showcase with the origins is the magnitude of flavors you can find in the world of rum. and also what different traditions and different cultures play in to the profile of the rum. Now, the first country we are going to visit is one of my all-time favorite rum countries because we are going to a tiny little country in South America. It's tucked in up on the north coast between Venezuela, Brazil, and Suriname, and it's called Guyana. Now, Guyana is home to only about 700,000 people, so quite small compared to Poland, and I think you're around 40 million, but even small compared to here in Denmark, where we are going to be 6 million about next month. One thing they are famous for, though, is their rum. Today, there is only one rum distillery left in Guyana. It's known as DDL, Demerara Distillers Limited. But they are quite unique. They're quite unique in the sense that with the stills they have on site, they are able to create literally thousands of different profiles of rum. Because if we look at the history of rum and sugar in Guyana, there used to be 50 distilleries in Guyana if we only go back 60, 70 years. But a lot of these distilleries have closed through the years. But what makes DDL unique is that a lot of the stills, a lot of the know-how, and a lot of the history from a lot of these old distilleries have been collected over time and is now all located here with DDL. The rum we're trying today, we call it PM, which stands for Port Morant. Now, Port Morant is probably the most legendary still in the world. What do you think, Chris? Is there anything more legendary than the Port Morant?
Mm-mm. No.
I don't think so either.
Mm-mm.
It's the one we can see here in the bottom to the right, and it is a double wooden pot still. Now, most pot stills are created from copper and metal, even both on the sides and as well here on the top in what we call the line arm. Now, what makes the Port Morant very special is here, all of the sides that you can see here in red color is actually made out of wood. It's made out of a local hardwood, and the still itself can date its history back to the 1700s. This is basically almost 300 years old and is also known to be one of the oldest, if not the oldest still in the world in existence today. Now, the rum itself that comes out of it has a very, very characteristic flavor. But go ahead and sip it now if you haven't tried it. Now, remember, guys, everything is 57%. And if it's your first rum of the evening, take a small sip. Start out slow. It'll be easy as we go along. But that first sip of rum of the day, when you start with 57%, can be quite of a shock to the mouth. So take it slow, have a small sip.
You remember also, Joshua, that we are Polish people.
I know. But do yourself a favor, let it rest in your mouth. Don't swallow it immediately. Let it rest, let it glide out, let it cover your whole mouth before you start to swallow it. Your tongue and your cheeks, everything will give you different flavors. So let it touch every part of your mouth before you swallow it. That way you will get what I would say the complete sensation or the complete flavor profile of the rum. Have you all tried it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? You like it?
Yeah. Excellent.
Well,
it's super nice, yeah.
I hope we get to say that about all the rums tonight.
I've tried a lot of Guyana rums.
Yeah.
I don't like the Guyana profile. For me, it's not so good. But this is the best Guyana rum I've tried ever.
Good. I imagine, Pedro, the ones you've tried might be the very, very dark ones then? Yeah. What I would recommend is if you actually enjoy this one, look for other Port Morants on the market, but take the ones that are very light in color.
Yeah. Maybe. Because usually I've tried the old Guyana, also the Port Morant, but it's not my profile. This is very light, very specific for me. It's good, pretty good.
They have an old tradition in Guyana when they do the aging of the rum, where some of the rum will just go straight into the barrel, unaged, clear in color, like water.
Yeah.
And then stay there for a number of years before they dilute it and bottle it. But they also have this old tradition where they will start off with taking cane juice. They'll start to heat it up and start to evaporate the water until they boil it into a syrup, a very, very dark syrup that they will then actually add into the unaged rum and then add it into the barrel. But this actually means that the rum from the beginning is very, very dark. So they add the color in the beginning. Now, other than color, this also adds a flavor to it, where you get like these hints of burnt caramel, a little bit of licorice, almost some wooden flavors in there as well. That is not a profile that is for everybody. I like it quite a lot myself, I have to say. It's one of my favorite profiles, but you can discuss even if it's still a rum when they do it like this, because it is quite a different way of doing it. But for me, this is what we're trying right now is history. The Port Moran still, Guyanese rum, and this rum in particular is history, basically. It's a rum that is very, very difficult to find unaged. And I'm very, very happy we had the opportunity to bottle it. Now, at the distillery in Guyana, they have multiple stills, and we bottled quite a few different versions from them in the past, all of them aged. I hope in the future we will bottle one or two more unaged, but we'll see what the future brings. They have at the distillery, and I remember this very vividly because when I went there the first time about 7.5 years ago, I visited the distillery, and inside of the halls with all the stills, they are all cramped together in a very small space. That's also why this photo that I took myself, it's quite difficult to get a good picture. So the one I took up here is from a smaller model where you can actually see the full setup of the Port Moran. But up close to the actual still, it's very hard to see. But over here in the corner behind it was another still. And it was a still that I'd never heard about before. And I knew exactly what it was when I saw it, because it's what is called or known as a double retort pot still. And it's the type of still that is classic to Jamaica. So when I was there, obviously I had to ask, what is that? What is that you're hiding right there? And on the still, it had a sign that said DHE. And I later got to know that that stood for Diamond High Ester. And what they used it for was basically to create or recreate Jamaican profile rum for blending. Now, that is my dream that one day we can get to bottle that one, but let's see. I've been lucky enough to bottle it aged, but never unaged. And I keep pressuring them every time I talk to them that they need to sell me some. And hopefully, maybe one day we'll actually succeed, but we'll see in the future. So, guys, any questions about Guyana or the Port Moran? Otherwise, we are slowly going to jump into the next one.
Yeah, I have a very simple question. This DDL, what does it mean?
DDL stands for Demerara Distillers Limited. Demerara is the name of a river. Guyana have quite a few very, very large rivers, but when it comes to rum, it's primarily known for the Demerara River. And this river passes literally right next to the distillery. That's where it got its name from.
Actually, sugar is quite popular in Poland from Demerara. I didn't even know. I didn't drink rum and I had the Demerara in my house.
Yeah. Well, to be very fair, Michael, then Demerara, the word itself and the name is it's become so famous for sugar that today that name is exploited quite a lot. So what you actually need to do to be sure is actually check the back of your package of sugar to see if it's actually produced in Guyana.
Okay.
You will find that there can be a very good chance that the sugar comes from somewhere else completely, but it's just sugar made from sugar cane. But
Okay.
because this name has become so famous for both sugar and rum, a lot of people have taken advantage of that and putting it on sugar that is not even from Guyana. But you will even see it, in old cooking books where you find recipes that will ask for Demerara sugar, but many people mistaking it for cane sugar. This is also why, Guyana has been fighting to get a GI for their rum, to make sure that the word Demerara rum can only be associated with rum actually coming from the distillery that is made under certain rules, bottled in Guyana and everything, in order to protect that name. It's a little bit like, a lot of the rum countries across the world are trying to research what is necessary to create these GIs, a geographical indication, to protect the knowledge they have and to protect the rum from their home countries. But give it a look, Michael. Just because it might not be from Guyana doesn't mean that it's not necessarily good sugar.
It's probably not. It's synonymous to like brown sugar. Demerara is like brown sugar, generally speaking. But also, I have a question. What always bothers me, like, why do you think is in Guyana there's basically one distillery left?
Yeah.
In like the whole country, which right now is like, we can't deny, like, El Dorado is very famous rum across the world, right? That would give you a point like, if that's a good rum out of Guyana, I will start a distillery. We have a sugar. There is a famous rum. Why don't they think about building an empire out of that, right?
Well, I think for multiple reasons. So building a new distillery is not cheap, first of all. That's one of the reasons. Another reason is who is going to build it. I think you would need outside investment if you wanted to build another distillery in Guyana. And Guyana is, in essence, a third world country. It's not easy to get there. Even, if you come here from Europe, you need to land 3 places before you can come to Guyana. The plane tickets are insanely expensive. There's very, very few hotels. It's not a country that it's easy to get around in. So I think that is a big part of it. Another part of it is DDL's position in the market. Because they've been alone now for so many years, they have a monopoly on the rum market literally in the country.
All right.
But they also have, it's a huge, huge distillery. They produce millions and millions of liters. They have 130,000 barrels in stock. And they recently I think it's 2 weeks ago, they completed a new aging warehouse with room for another 20,000. And imagine you start a new distillery.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to start from scratch because, first of all, you need to build it. Then you need a steady supply of molasses or cane juice. Now, DDL used to be self-sufficient, meaning that the country produced enough molasses for them to create all their rum. They are not anymore. Today, they have to import parts of it. So that's the second step. You need to find a source for that. Then you get to the point where, well, what are we going to sell the first few years? The market for white rum is not necessarily that big. Unless you're named Bacardi or Havana Club and you have millions and millions to pour into marketing, then that is a very tough place to start. Mm-hmm. Secondly, when you then get an aged rum, then you also need to get out and promote it. And that's not easy. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money. So just building a distillery like that is quite expensive. You also have to look at it from the perspective of what is happening in the world. Now, the world is not necessarily drinking less alcohol right now, but it is in a difficult place. And if you look towards Scotland as an example, you don't see distilleries closing, but you see distilleries that are putting down their production and level, going from 7 days a week of production to 5 days a week of production. You see what happened with Waterford Distillery in Ireland. You see also what happened to their rum distillery in Grenada, which is in big financial trouble. So I think a lot of the people out there who might be interested in building a distillery are also looking at the situation in the world and saying, okay, maybe right now is not the time. But yeah.
Thank you. That's a very, very good answer, I would say.
But send me 100 million and we'll open it up together.
Well, yeah. I mean, I am maybe. You never know.
No, but there's a lot of things to consider for something like that, and just the fact that Guyana is such a small country, and you don't have a big port, for instance, for the ships to come in, all of that. I think that is something that would scare most people away of choosing Guyana if they wanted to build a distillery. There are a lot of other countries in South America or countries in the Caribbean or Central America where it would be a lot easier to get started.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions? We will slowly jump into the next one then. So we'll go from the north part of South America to the southwest instead, where we're going to visit the small country of Ecuador. And we're going to enjoy the malacatas, as we call it. Now, I love this rum. And of course, I love it even more because of Chris. 2 years ago, this specific bottle won his daiquiri competition.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, it is an outstanding rum. I drink quite a bit of this myself, both neat, straight as it is, but of course also in my daiquiris. But yeah, I have to say that, Chris, I was still surprised when it won. I knew it was a good rum, but I also knew the competition it were up against. And I was surprised to see at the end that it actually took the first place, but very, very happy with it.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. I was super surprised last year. This year also. I mean, last year and last year. But yeah, this is what's going on when you are doing a blind test. You know, there's no marketing, just rum.
Just the rum. And that's how all tastings should be when it's for judging, at least.
Yeah.
You need it blind because, you know, the label, the country it comes from, the origin, the producer, everything will mess with your head if you don't drink it blind. Yeah. But yeah, welcome to Ecuador. Malacatas bottled at 57%, of course, based on cane juice. It comes from a tiny little distillery, the one you can see here in the pictures. Now, the distillery itself does not have a name. It is really a very, very small place located in a small village in a region that is called Malacatas. We chose that name because we wanted it to have a name. We wanted to have something we could call it, basically, when we spoke about it. And that's why we went literally on Google Maps to check where is it from, where is it located, to find something that we thought could be a good name for it. Now, the distillery itself has never sold rum to Europe before. Usually their rum is consumed locally, you know, in the small area surrounding the distillery. It's a small family-owned place that, that tried to export rum for the first time. The flavor, for me, this is quite unique because I think it is different from rum you find from any other place. First, when you hear it's from sugarcane, you get an idea that you're going to get a lot of this, let's call it agricole flavor, fresh grassy notes that you get from Martinique. But you don't really get that. But you get an explosion of fruit that works really, really well, both by itself, but also is enhanced even more when you start using it in a cocktail like the daiquiri, where the lime and the sugar will just go in there and help elevate some of the flavors it already has. What was your own favorite, Chris, from this year's daiquiri competition?
I can tell you.
Why? Okay.
From this year, last one, yeah?
Yeah, this one, the last one you just did.
You know, to be honest, many of my favorites didn't came to great final. So yeah, so I was super surprised about that. Really, you
Okay.
know, my favorite hair from Savannah,
Yeah.
your Kilik was super nice, and it took I don't remember second place.
Yeah, no, I think second place was Worthy Park.
No, second place was Kilik.
It was Kili. Ah, okay, good.
Yeah, you didn't came for the tasting, so you didn't know.
Yeah, no, I was
You stuck in Germany, I remember. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I was stuck in a car.
I remember.
Yeah,
So yeah, so second place was Kilik, and is you know, many people who I talk with still they are also surprised about Kilik. It's
Yeah.
super nice, really really nice. So
it is.
I like it. Yeah.
It has actually, it has become the most popular one in the range right now. It is by far selling more than the others. And I think it is, I have no doubt that it is that strawberry flavor it has, but we'll talk about it later when we get to it for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, but you know, it's one of the reasons why I really enjoy the white rum myself is this huge amount of diversity in the flavors that you find. Because I remember when I started drinking rum, before I'd even tried a real rum, the rum that you knew were Bacardi, it was Havana Club, it was Captain Morgan, it was the cheap white rum you could find in the supermarket. And the only thing I remember about them is they all tasted terrible. You needed a lot of, even as a teenager, you needed a lot of Coke or something else to mix them with and drink them. So when I started drinking rum and I started learning about white rum and specifically started learning about Jamaican rum when I traveled to Jamaica and started working with Worthy Park, this was just an eye-opener of what white rum can actually do. And today, I think I actually, at home at least, when I'm here in Denmark, I am drinking more white rum, pure, not in cocktails, but pure, than aged rum. Chris, you the same?
Exactly. Yeah, the same.
But it offers up some flavors that gets lost when you start aging it, basically. There's this certain freshness, some fruity notes, some grassy notes that after a few years of aging, some of it or a lot of it is actually disappearing. And I think you get that in the white rum, and it's something unique that you have to try and enjoy. I was doing it this weekend as well. I was at the local rum bar. We were testing some white rums that my colleague Thomas had blended that we wanted to try in cocktails. And we were sitting there, we tried them in cocktails. We were drinking them neat. We were drinking them with ice. And it's just a different experience. Guys, what do you think about the Malacatas? Do you like it?
Excellent. For me, it's excellent smell, a lot of happens. I was surprised for sweetness, which is in the end of the finished.
Yeah.
That's a surprising element.
I agree, Jacek, and this is one of the things that most people are surprised about when we drink white rum and rum at 57% is actually what you're saying, the sweetness. And unlike a lot of other rums on the market, it's not because of sugar, because there is no sugar added. And all the sugar that was there originally disappeared during the distillation. It is simply because of the tasting notes that are coming. Because you have some of these fruity notes, it also gets a sweetness from that. Because when we taste mango, our brain knows that this is supposed to be sweet. So we get this feeling that the rum is actually sweet without even being it. Now, but yes, Tarek?
Yeah, as Jacek said, this one tastes really, really good. But we can't forget about nose. It's well, I'm felt in love, fallen. I love this smell. I can very often I can. I'm saying that for me it's enough. I don't need drink a rum. I can only sniff it. So
Just sit with the
this
glass.
one is absolutely different than others, and I love it maybe a little bit more than the others.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. And I know exactly what you're talking about, Derek, because I love sniffing the rum as well.
Yeah.
Just sitting with the glass and keep nosing it. And I have to say that one of my guilty pleasures is the last rum we're going to try today. And if you give me a glass of that, I will literally sit with the glass like this for 10 minutes without stopping because I love the smell of it.
Exactly.
But yeah, it is part of the experience when you try rum like these. You have to nose them to get that full experience of it.
I am super surprised that it's cane juice. I'm like, I from a nose, I would 100% not say that.
Yeah.
100%.
It is very, very surprising in that sense because even when we tried it the first time at the office, me and my colleagues, it was the same. We didn't believe it was cane juice either. We were all sure this has to be molasses.
Yeah, positive molasses for 100% sure.
But it's a very good surprise, and they actually, when I was talking to the team in Ecuador, they were kind enough to send me some videos as well of the production. I can't share them, unfortunately, not here. But if you ever find me on the road, then I'll happy to show you on my phone. But yeah, this place is special. It is a tiny, tiny, tiny little place where they produce the rum that they want. But I don't think there's even a specific recipe. It's more of like, let's see what's going to happen today. Let's see how long we are going to let it ferment. Let's see what's going to happen. It's more of that.
So would you say that the different moment you would take the rum, it would taste completely different, or it would still have some kind of like a...
For sure. We actually had a conversation with them not that long ago. Well, 3, 4, 5 months, something like that, where we were speaking about when we are going to ship more rum to Europe, for instance. And they were like, yeah, but you want the same? Because we are not sure that we can actually replicate what you had the last time. So we will never know. But that is the thing, actually, with a lot of the rums that we are tasting tonight. Some of these rums are made in quite small batches. So there is no consistency in it for that. They might create something that is very close to the last one, but it'll never be 100% the same. It's the same when we go into some of the Jamaican rums that we're going to try later today, where we have the influence of muck and the influence of dunder, wild fermentation for 4 or 5 weeks. These are things where you do something that you can't control because you let a lot of outside influence come in. And that also means that you will never be able to replicate it 100%. You might have a recipe that you're going for and that you follow 100%, but because you employ something like wild fermentation, then you never know exactly what you're going to get. So that is a thing with something like this. It's the same thing with our single barrels. If you find a bottle that you really like, there's no guarantee that we can actually replicate what we did the last time. But yeah, it also just makes it so much more interesting because it means that we're going to keep on trying new things.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks.
So we can't complain about it. I heard a lot of, a lot of people who've been drinking rum for many years, they're complaining that, rum was better 20 years ago. what they distilled in the 60s or 50s was a lot better than what they're distilling today. And yeah, there's been some amazing bottles that were bottled 30, 40 years ago, but they're still amazing rum today, and there continue to be amazing rum coming to market. It's just a different flavor, and it'll keep changing. But that is the fun part. We get to try a lot of it. So
The next one.
we are going to jump to Dominican Republic, and we're going to have two different Dominican Republics. If you have two glasses, guys, then I will actually suggest that you pour both of them. We're going to have the one called Aroma Grande, and we're going to have the one called Consuelo. Now, what's going to be interesting here is that they both come from a distillery called AFD, which means Alcoholes Finos Dominicanos. It's a distillery in the Dominican Republic, by far the largest distillery on the island. They have a capacity of around 40 million liters of pure alcohol per year. Pure alcohol means that, imagine it was distilled to 100% alcohol. They are mostly famous for producing a brand like Barcelo. They make all the rum that goes into there. They also supply all of the rum for our brands called Cristobal and Patridon. But we also buy unaged rum from them for more interesting things. Now, the first one, Aroma Grande, was an experiment. Now, we had some conversations with the distillery, and me and my colleague Thomas, we actually ended up sending them a bunch of samples. So what we sent them were different high ester Jamaican rums. We sent them Le Galion from Martinique, a Graneron, and different crazy, heavy, high congener, high ester rums for them to try. The distiller then went back and started experimenting on their the multi-column setup that they have, to try and replicate something like this. Now, what he came up with was this one that we have here. It's based on cane juice. They did a longer fermentation on it, and they managed actually to create 500 esters in this one that came off the column. It is a very, very unique rum. In my opinion, it has this medicinal, industrial taste on top of some fruity flavors. It's something that is quite unique. But give that a try, and then on the side, I want you to try the next one. Because what happened at the distillery was actually that after they tried the samples we had sent for them, and after they started distilling themselves, they became so curious that they actually went out and they bought a pot still. So they installed a brand new pot still at the distillery, and then started creating pot still rum as well. Now, this one is the first pot still rum they created. Well, not the first, but the first one they decided was good enough to actually bottle. It's 57% as well, based on cane juice, 7-day fermentation, and then pot still distilled. Now, this comes in at around 240 esters, and this actually cheats quite a few people when they try it, because I think you get that pot still element. You even get a slight touch of what I would call a Jamaican profile in there. But it's also world history that we're drinking, because this is the only bottled pot still rum from the Dominican Republic. There have been pot stills in the Dominican Republic before, but from what I can find in any history books, we are close to 100 years ago before the last pot still rum was made in the Dominican Republic. So this is something that is really, really unique. It is also very, very far away from Dominican distilling heritage. It's very, very far away from Dominican classic profile.
Yeah,
both of them are.
absolutely.
But it is something unique, and I think they are extremely interesting, both of them. And I very much look forward to, because, all of the rum we're tasting tonight, all of it, we also have here in Denmark aging in barrels. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see these in a couple of years and see what actually happens in the barrel. There's a few of the origins that we're trying tonight that have already been bottled at SBS, but there's a lot of them that we haven't tried yet, that are still just sitting here in a barrel in Denmark, waiting on us to taste them and see what it is. Now, guys, did you try both of them?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on these. What do you think, Pedro?
Yeah. I like all your origins. You know, I'm a great fan of this series. It's my favorite series, absolutely. I have some favorite rums from the origins, but Aroma Grande is not one of them.
No.
For me, I think it's least favorite, but it's absolutely amazing and absolutely unique rum.
Yeah. I agree in the sense that it's unique.
Yeah.
If it's good or bad, that always depends on the person who's drinking it. But I think that one specifically is the rum that receives most criticism.
Yeah.
It is also a rum that has a couple of very, very hardcore fans.
Yeah.
So when you look at what people are saying about it, I think it's either you love it or you hate it. To be
This
fair,
is good. This is good,
yeah.
But this is not my favorite taste. Opposite than Consuelo, because I love Consuelo.
Yeah.
The same distillery, the same, but absolutely different profile.
Yeah.
And this one is one of my favorite, 3 or 4 favorite from the origins. And
Yeah.
this is the least one.
Good. Good to hear. Good to hear. What about the rest of you?
Well, I think that I agree with that the Aroma Grande is like 50-50. Either like me, you like this chemical nail polish kind of vibe there,
Yeah.
Or you don't. And I agree with that. That's a taste
Yeah.
for it or not. So I agree. For example, I prefer much more the Aroma Grande than the Consuelo, 100%.
Cool.
Because I like this kind of like weirdness,
Yeah.
almost savoriness of it.
Yeah.
Almost the fact that you don't think you're drinking rum, or you're just mixed up something and you're drinking something out of my wife's cabinet, which I should not drink.
Yeah.
That's on the edge of it, right? But I love this more than Consuelo, yeah, for sure.
Good. That's very interesting to hear. Love that comment. But yeah, it is. It was made on a multi-column. The multi-column is, created to make very, very light, very easy drinking rum. It's what's used for Bacardi. It's what's used for Havana Club. It's how we produce Captain Morgan. It's how vodka is produced. Rum with a minimum of flavor. So when they created this the first time, all of us here in Denmark were surprised. Very, very positively surprised that they could do something like this. But I'm very happy that what we tried to do with them and what they did themselves inspired them to install the pot still. Because now this can change the perception of Dominican rum, of what they can actually do in the future. Where Dominican rum, at least for rum geeks, I would say, does not have a good reputation. This is something that can actually help to change that and actually show that they can make the profile that the rum geeks actually enjoy.
Yeah, of course.
So that, I think, is the most important part of it. And they have all the sugarcane right there. The distillery AFD is 100% self-sufficient. They are surrounded by 6,500 acres of land where they grow the cane. So I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of this, at least in SBS going forward. But yeah, give it another year or two, and we'll have the first one of the Dominican Republic ready to be bottled as an aged rum as well.
And just what about this idea? Is the distillery will distillery be continuing this idea, the high ester and different profile and or something?
So yes, they will. How they will use it, we're not 100% sure yet. The understanding we have right now is that so far we're the only one who have gotten pot still rum. They will start aging some of it in the Dominican Republic, but what they're going to age locally will be blends. It will be blended with the column distillate before they start aging it. I hope they will, do some pure aging of the pot still rum as well in the tropicals, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's still very new for them. The pot still have been there, a year and a half. And the first 6 months was for installation, and a lot of the time went with experimenting first. The distiller who was working the still, he made a lot of test runs, and he discarded a lot of rum because he was not happy. But this was the first time they've ever worked a pot still. So of course, they asked for recommendations from other distilleries and from the producer of the still, all of that. But it's just different. This is AFD. It's standing on their land. It's their sugarcane. It's different climate. Everything is different. So they had to find their own way to do it, and that took some time.
Yeah, of course.
But
it's interesting, yeah.
Yeah. We tried actually to convince them to send us all the rum that they discarded and told them, well, you know what? It might not be you who don't like it. Maybe we like it. So please just send it to us. But the distiller was like, no,
no.
I have decided it's not good. It will be discarded. Yeah, okay. We tried. But we wanted to taste it just to give it a shot. You never know. Maybe he had created the new Caroni and we wouldn't even have known it. But yeah. But it's the thing that is most interesting about AFD is even though they are one of the largest rum distilleries in the world, they are still willing to experiment. When we sent them samples of Jamaican rum, agricoles, granaroms, they loved tasting them, and they loved starting the experiments so much that they bought the pot still. And that is what I find unique, because this shows also that even though you're a huge corporation with a huge production, you still want it to be fun as well. It still needs to be interesting to go to work. You're still willing to experiment everything. And that, I think, is something unique for somebody as big as they are. But yeah, very, very good experience. And we have different versions of the pot still. The one we bottled was 240 esters. We bought one at around 500 as well. That is only being used for aging right now. But yeah, I think another year or two, then hopefully we'll start maybe bottling one or two of them to see what happens after the cask influence.
And I have a question regarding that. So
Yeah.
like the cask. So do you think that when you're having like a few rums, like either like a very high ester or lower high ester, do you have an idea on how long you think you want to put it in a cask? Or you just put it in there and just check every now and then and check whether that makes sense to do so? Or you think like, okay, high ester, maybe do not put it for a very long because it will lose all of its character or whatever. Do you have like an idea before you put it there?
No.
Well,
sure. That's not entirely true. We do have an idea. We try to put as many casks down, so we will be able to have some that is going to age for many years, 10 plus. But also so we have enough stock so we can start bottling them sooner. a lot of the aging we do in Denmark today takes place in virgin oak. So completely new barrels that are heavy charred. And when we started using these, the first thing we actually did with the virgin oaks was to fill them with high ester Jamaican rum. And what we learned from that process is that when you take a completely new cask and add one of these very, very heavy, high congener, high ester rum to it, magic just happens. Because we saw casks that after a year were ready to bottle, literally. But a lot of this, of course, it will depend on what's going to happen throughout the years. We do test every now and then, of course, to see what's the progress, what's happening. And some casks will be ready to bottle after a year. Some will be ready after 2 years, but some will stay for 5, 6, 8, 10 years as well. So we can see what happens in the future as well. So there's never a clear plan for it from the beginning. We'll have sort of an idea about what's going to happen, but that's it.
But you're always thinking about like leaving something for like extended amount of years, right?
Yes, for sure. Because we want a steady supply of it from the big suppliers we use. So we want to keep putting something down for aging, so that we'll always have both young versions and older versions available in the future.
Yeah.
But we'll see what's going to happen. It'll soon be time to try the Consuelo. It's not going to be long before the first batch will have aged for about a year, and then we'll start trying it for sure to see what has happened.
Cool.
Then we'll see. But yeah, I am very excited to check that one.
So are you also like trying to put like in a very different casks and look at the cask influence on each? So like virgin oak, like X something, and then you're thinking like, so you have right now like a warehouse full of millions of possibilities of different casks, and then you're choosing like which one is good.
I wish we were talking millions of possibilities.
Yeah, sure.
We have today around 2,800, 3,000 casks, something in that range, which is also quite a lot. But
yeah, you have more casks than I have bottles.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But today our primary focus is virgin oak for young rum, but we do a lot of different casks. Of course, different versions of sherry, PX, Oloroso, Amontillado. We use port casks, tawnies, and ruby ports. We use masala, we use muscatel, Pinot de Charente, Limon, cognac, everything.
Okay, so a lot of different ones.
Yeah, always. Also try with different types of wood sometimes when we have the opportunity. That's a little bit more difficult, but we do it. One of the most interesting things we bottled recently was in Cristobal, Santa Maria, where the last release from September, we bottled one from a red wine cask. But here we had found casks from a very, very famous winery in Bordeaux. And it came from Chateau Mouton Rothschild, which, they bottle some of the most expensive wines in the world, where their standard bottles are literally 700 euro for a standard red wine. So we try to do a lot of experiments all the time. But we've been doing that ever since we started aging. We started in the beginning, we did it with 40-liter barrels, smaller barrels, to see the influence. Because putting in a rum in a 200-liter barrel and the fear that it might go wrong is something that we were not that happy to do. So in the beginning, we used a lot of smaller barrels for experiments. But we've used all of those experiments throughout the years to learn. So now we use the big 200 liters or more for everything. But I think one day Chris will organize a rum trip, the Polish rum gang to come to Denmark.
When?
Whenever you want, and we will do a class in the warehouse.
But the only one thing is we have to go to Legoland is in Denmark. Okay, yes, it's
Yeah,
there.
it's
So,
it's about an hour from here.
really, okay.
So quite
So
close.
this will be one of the part of this trip.
I
Yeah.
think that Joshua has a better Legoland for us.
Yeah, exactly.
That is for sure, Pedro, and I
Yeah.
agree. I completely agree. My warehouse is more interesting than Legoland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe sure. I have one idea. We will talk about it
yeah,
this week. Okay, I
good.
have one idea. Okay,
Yeah.
let's
Sounds
do
good.
that. Let's do that. Great.
Perfect. Well, let me know.
Let's do SBS the tasting gang. You know this Caroni said.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, why
that's
not?
a good idea. That's a good idea. I'll be very happy to do that. Just tell me when you're ready, Chris, and we'll start planning for that.
Perfect.
Great.
Perfect.
So from one island in the Caribbean to another, we are headed to Jamaica, and we are going to visit my favorite distillery in the Caribbean, or my favorite distillery in the world, probably. I have to admit. We are at Worthy Park. We are going to try the WPH, which stands for Worthy Park Heavy. For this, it specifies a rum that comes in between 240 to 360 esters. So not the highest from Jamaica, but definitely quite high. Now, I went to Jamaica for the first time 10 years ago by now. I don't even remember. Many years ago by now. And I spent a month there, traveling around, enjoying myself, visiting the island, seeing the sights, drinking a lot of rum, but also to visit all the distilleries that I could. And my last trip to a distillery was Worthy Park. And when I came there, I fell in love. It is one of the most beautiful locations for a distillery. The views from atop of the mountains when you come in and you see that red sign with the entrance to the valley, and you look out here behind and you just see sugarcane fields everywhere, and the distillery just straight there in the middle of everything. It is an extraordinary sight. Now, when I got there, I met San Kong, who is if people think about Worthy Park, most people, he's the guy they see online or at festivals as well. He had just started at the distillery 3 months earlier, and he gave me the tour. And at the end, we ended up in a tasting room, me and him, along with Gordon Clark, one of the owners and the managing director, trying their different rums. And I brought bottles with me home, of course, poured them to my friends and my team and my colleagues and business partners. And shortly thereafter, we started importing it. And we still do to this day and supply it to most of the European countries and a couple of countries in Asia as well. Now, they were also kind enough to sell us some unaged rum that we could play around with ourselves. And we're going to try 2 of them today. We're going to start with the VPH, which is based on molasses. And then we're going to try the VPL CJ, that is based on cane juice after. Now, these 2 you don't have to compare because we can't compare them. They're so very, very different, even though they're produced very much in a similar way. Now, go ahead and try this whenever you're ready. I'll just keep talking a little bit. Worthy Park is unique in the sense that one thing is that it is family owned. Today, it's the 3rd and 4th generation that is running the distillery. The current family, the Clarks, have owned the Worthy Park estate since 1918. So it's a little more than 100 years by now. The estate itself was established in 1670, where a piece of land was given to a lieutenant, an officer in the English army. He was given this piece of land by the English king because he had helped to fight off the Spanish when they tried to invade Jamaica. Now, cane production, sugar cane farming, started in 1721 or 1720, sorry. And in 1741, we have the first recorded history of distillation at Worthy Park. This also makes them the oldest distillery in Jamaica. 1741 compared to Appleton, which started in 1749, or Hampton that came about in 1753. So we have a very, very long history here. Now, for much of this history, Worthy Park did not have a brand. They were simply creating bulk rum for sales and blends or export to the European market where it would be blended into other brands. But in 2008, Gordon Clark decided that now we are going to reopen, we're going to make our own brand, and he started off with Rum Bar. Within a very, very short span of time, his Overproof, the Rum Bar Overproof, took over a significant market share in Jamaica, and they've still been building on that ever since. Before that, there were literally only one rum brand in Jamaica, and that was the Ray and Nephew that you probably all know. Today, Rum Bar has grown, so it sits on more than 20% market share in Jamaica, something which had been unheard of 10 years ago, where nobody would have ever believed that nobody could ever beat Ray and Nephew, but it has happened. I am quite sure why. It's simply to do about flavor and taste. It's a better rum, at least in my opinion. But that's the Rum Bar Overproof. We're here to speak about the WPH, which is also part of the Rum Bar Overproof. But what do you think, guys?
It's surprisingly delicate as a Jamaican one.
Yeah.
He has a little bit, he knows the Jamaican flavors, but on the taste, it's very, very good, very smooth one.
Yeah, I agree. It's quite an easy drinking rum, actually.
Yeah.
When you think about Jamaican rum, you think about all this power, all the fruit, all the esters, all that funk, then this is very, very easy to drink.
Fortunately, we know that Jamaican rums are not only, as you said, the funky, the high ester, so they can be gentle also. But my first impression this night was when I tried this one was that, oh well, I'm at home again. Fortunately, grateful to you, Josh, and Chris, and probably a few other guys from our group. I had the chance to be familiarized with Jamaican rum, and to be honest, I love this smell. I love this taste. Very characteristic for Jamaican rums, and for me, it doesn't matter if they are gently. Okay, I love it, but the special one, also the high esters ones I like too. So, well, this one is as you said or Jacek said, it's a very gently, but still has a Jamaican character.
Exactly. I completely agree, and I think there is. We're gonna go and try a little bit later tonight. We'll try the TECC, which is 1600 esters, also an extraordinarily rum. But I have to say, I love high ester rum, but most of it I use in cocktails as like a flavor enhancer to add extra flavor to my cocktail. And when I drink it, I'll have one glass, maybe two, if it's really good, because then I had enough. Because it has so much flavor, so much power. But something like this is something I can sip all night. Like the Worthy Park Single Estate, which is one of my favorite all-time rums. That's a bottle you could open, and if you don't watch out, you've finished half a bottle before you realize, because it's just good rum, easy to drink.
How many esters has this one?
Between 240 to 360.
Thank you.
So for a Jamaican rum, I would say it's somewhere middle ground before it becomes too crazy.
Yeah. I like the Jamaican rams. Also high ester. I'm not a fanatic, but I like sometimes to feel this power,
Yeah.
in my mouth. But when I drink this WPH, I always think about it. It's also be nice. Why I need high esters? It's very, very aromatic, but very smooth. It's easy drinkable. It's typical Jamaican rum. Jamaican rum in the taste, but smooth, delicate, gentle. I love them.
I agree. I think when it comes to when only speaking about esters and Jamaican rum, then for me, these 200 to 500 esters, I think that is the perfect point.
Yeah.
That is where you get the best amount of flavors and really can still have that opportunity to just have another glass and keep enjoying them. Where when you get above 1,000, then usually one glass is enough.
Yeah.
Because you get almost overwhelmed by the flavors.
Yeah.
Not saying that it's not delicious, because I really like it.
I can't feel nothing more. Only the power.
Exactly. But yeah, no. But we need more Jamaican rum in the world in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm just curious. Is there in our group tonight somebody who didn't try high ester rums and it's a first contact with the Jamaican one? I would like to know your impression if such kind of person is.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Darek. Do we have anybody here?
Only veterans, I see.
No, I think that like for me, like being introduced to Jamaican rum is the entry for being interested in rum, to be honest. Like
this one?
I'm not this one, generally Jamaican rum, right? So I don't have many years of experience. So the moment I tried Jamaican rum, I knew I love rum. That's the moment I knew. Like the moment I tried the first Jamaican rum, which was Appleton Estate, but then it was like a very random, exactly what we are saying, the rum bar overproof in Wrocław, in a cocktail bar. When I was poured that, I knew that okay, this is the way I'm gonna go with my life. That's a weird thing to say, but that's I think that it would be very hard to try to be geek about rum when you don't try the Jamaican first. That's my opinion, because only after that you understand, like whatever we see here, that you can also have a very weird rum from Dominican Republic where you typically would think it's not very interesting kind of rum, or any other country, because the Jamaican is the first place where you can easily access like weirder rum and weirder flavors.
It's the home of Esther, home of funk.
Yeah.
And I agree. You have to go there. You need to understand Jamaican rum, and when you do that, you're a rum geek.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. It's a great way of saying it. Perfectly.
Now, when I'm thinking about this, what you said, I think that I will agree also on the, let's say, more or less very beginning of my rum journey. I thought that Barbados is a Barbados rums, Barbados style is a typical for a rum. Chris very often joke with me that well, when I think rum, it means Barbados. But
yeah.
to be honest, now I see that when I first met with Jamaican rums, it was the breaking point, let's say, that I understood rum, much more, much better than before this evening with
Yes.
Appleton. I believe it was the first time it was with Appleton.
But even
I also agree that it's funny when I show like my friends some kind of rums, when I show them Barbados kind of rums, like typical like even like plantation three or anything, and they smell it and it's like, okay, this is like a in Poland we had this rum chocolates, or like a kind of a sweet that had a rum flavor, and this is like an artificial rum flavor that people consider rum flavor. That's for everyone who doesn't know really about rum. This the typical flavor. So that's the Barbados rum. When I show them like a Jamaican or any other funkier, and it's like, oh, I have never felt anything like that. I'm like, yep, that's the case. Yeah.
Well, that is actually quite funny, and we're going to be speaking a lot more about flavors and rum in general in a couple of rums when we go into the very, very highest of rums. But let's jump on to the next Worthy Park and try and see if we can find some similarities actually, because Worthy Park is a single estate producer. Now, single estate producer means that they have control of everything in the value chain. They have all of their own sugarcane fields where they grow the cane. They have their own sugar factory where the cane is processed, crushed, turned into juice, then sugar and molasses. They have their own distillery. They do all of their own aging. They do all of their own bottling, which basically means they control everything from beginning to end. Now, they've always produced rum from molasses. But a couple of years ago, they decided to say, well, why not try to make it from juice? After all, the sugar factory is right next door to the distillery. It's 1 kilometer down the road. Why not try and bring some of that freshly squeezed juice into our fermentation and see what's going to happen? And that's what they did here. So it is literally produced the exact same way as they produce their what is called VPL or Worthy Park Light, but instead of molasses, they've used juice. So it's a shorter fermentation, it's closed fermentation, temperature controlled, use of their own yeast, and then distilled in the pot still. And in my own opinion, I think they've created something truly wonderful, because what you get here is that you can taste that this is a Worthy Park product. You can taste the Worthy Park profile, but at the same time, you get this influence of what is like an agricole influence, which is very, very green notes of the fresh sugarcane juice. But yeah, try and give it a go, guys. And I'm very, very eager to hear your opinion about it. I think most of you have tried it before, probably. So you already know it, but give it another shot tonight. Thank you.
For me, it's one of the tastiest rums from first to this one.
Great. I think it works really well, and equally well in cocktails, of course. It really brings out that fresh notes of the fresh cut grass, the fresh cut cane.
When you drink it, you feel the difference between the cane juice and molasses, yeah? Because the Jamaican rums are always heavy.
Yes.
Because the molasses rums are heavy for me. And this is light, is fruity. When I tried this rum, it was first time I've tried Jamaican cane juice rum, yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe it was the first one.
Could very well be. Yeah.
But it's very good for me. The Worthy Park Overproof, this new, yeah, also has a cane juice addition, yeah.
Yes, the new Worthy Park Overproof has an addition of the cane juice in it.
Yeah,
and
it also gives him some lightness, some fruitness.
It does.
Yeah.
I agree. It has that perfect combination of what the agricole give you with the green notes, but on top you have the Jamaican funkiness and that Worthy Park Jamaica profile. It's almost like you're drinking what could be a blended rum from between the two origins, and I find that really, really interesting.
And a small touch of agricole, yes.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
It's not agricole, but this small touch.
But I think it's an extraordinary rum, and I'm very, very happy that that they decided to try this out. And we've done one bottling of this aged already. A couple of, what is that, a year and a half ago, I think we did it for the Netherlands, and it turned out really, really well. It goes really, really well into the cask. The influence of the wood complements the rum extraordinarily well. And I think we're going to see also in the future, we'll see more Worthy Park releases from the cane juice rum.
Yeah.
They did a single barrel last year for France, and I think we're going to see more of it in the future because it's just a completely new profile that's really going to add something to it.
Joshua, I need to ask you something. I think you won't be angry for me about that, but I have to.
Okay.
Be careful. I'm pretty sure you know this guy, but please tell me what's the difference between this bottle,
yeah,
and this bottle.
The difference is 6% in alcohol.
Yeah, what else?
That's it. That's the only difference.
And that's it?
Well, the label, of course.
Of course. Yeah. Okay.
So no, the other bottle you have is Warehouse One.
Yeah.
And Warehouse One was a project that started, I think, around 4 or 5 years ago, with a Czech company called UPB, or Ultra Premium Brands. They were the importer in Czech Republic for most of the Jamaican rums. They represented Appleton, they represent Hamden, they represented Worthy Park. And we saw in Czech Republic, this collectors group and geek rum group were really, really growing. So together with UPB and one of the owners, Mr. Rabel, and then the local Appleton ambassador, Robert Polo, we created a project where we started releasing these crazy rye rum, only Jamaican rum, to the Czech market. At the same time, we also put it down for aging. So Warehouse One have released a couple of aged editions, and they will release more in the future because they have a big stock of Jamaican rum barrels. But they are only focused on Jamaica. That's it. Jamaica all the way. When it's white, it's always 63%. When it's cask, it's always cask strength.
Yeah.
So they've done some very unique things, and they bottled other different white rums than me as well. We have bottled some of the same, but they've bottled far more Jamaican rum than I have. And well, Chris, Robert, he's in Jamaica right now, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very jealous because
me too.
he's there with a group of people, and I know everybody in the group, and each of them are posting pictures on Facebook every day. So
yeah.
every time I open Facebook,
I talked with Robert the 2 weeks ago, or more or less week ago, that we have to plan a Jamaican trip next year. This year was too late, so I have some idea to do that. It's super expensive, but it's worth it.
It is, but it's worth it.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
need to go, Chris. It's like the pilgrimage, basically. You need to go there, trust me, and you're gonna love it.
I'm worried about that.
No, but you're gonna see Appleton, you're gonna see Hampden, you'll see Worthy Park, you'll see Long Pond, you'll see Clarendon. You can see 5 out of the 6 distilleries when you're there. And then you can knock on the door to number 6 and at least see it from the outside. But it's unique. It really is. Also because each of the distilleries are so different from each other. Where Worthy Park is a very modern distillery, so is Appleton, very modern today, but they just have the sheer size of Appleton is huge. And then you go to Hampden, which is like a living museum where everything happens like it did 300 years ago. And you go to Long Pond, which is as well a living museum where everything is about to fall apart.
Yeah.
And then you have Clarendon, which is like a mix of both, because they have the large multi-column where 99% of the rum is just sent to Diageo for Captain Morgan.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But then they have the pot stills as well. It's you need to go. That's it. There's nothing else to say. Go, Chris.
Go, Chris, go. Yeah.
I went there with whatever 4 years ago with my then girlfriend, my wife now, and she speaks about that trip all the time as well. She really fell in love with Jamaica, and we are always talking about when we're going to go back next. Yeah, I can only recommend it.
Yeah, thank you,
Chris. But yeah, from Jamaica, we are jumping a little bit to another very, very small island in the Caribbean, but we're going to stay with cane juice. But now we tried the Jamaican version of an agricole. Then let's go ahead and try the real deal. We are in Guadeloupe. It is the distillery of Montebello, and what we're going to be drinking is their red cane. Now, their red cane is, you could say, the best rum that they believe they produce themselves. It is also the one that has the heaviest profile, the most flavorful one. So that is the one we're going to try. Now, Montebello is quite unique, in my own opinion. They make some extraordinary rum. They really do. I prefer, when it comes to agricole, I prefer white agricole, unaged agricole, because for me, that just brings so much more flavor than when they start aging it. But I do believe a few of the distilleries have made some very interesting aged expressions. Now, and when we talk about age, we need to talk a little bit about the picture here in the middle, because that is one of the things that truly makes Montebello quite unique. Instead of having a traditional warehouse, Montebello ages most of their rum inside old shipping containers. Now, we're in the Caribbean. You have 30 plus degrees every day, which already gives you quite a high angel share. But here, somebody crazy decided, let's put our barrels inside of a metal container that when the sun is on, it's going to get 60 degrees minimum and literally boil our rum into the wood.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is what they decided to do here. It also means that their angel share is through the roof. It is insane how much rum they lose. But today it's become part of their profile, part of their charm. I don't know who came up with the idea. I think somebody just said, well, we don't have a warehouse. But we have a couple of containers. Let's use them until we have a warehouse. And then it just became a crazy idea to now it's tradition. This is how we do it.
I talked with Paul Timon
Yeah.
last week when I was in Paris. So he told me about that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. These two pictures are from Paul, actually. Pictures that he took. But yeah, Paul is a great guy. I really like him. And I'm sure we're going to see him in a few months in Paris, I imagine.
Mhm.
I said, I'm sure we're both going to see Paul in Paris for the Rumfest.
Yeah, in April. Yeah, for sure. He's every year there.
Are you bringing any of the Polish rum gang, Chris, or coming alone, or
I don't know yet.
you don't know yet?
One guy from here, yeah, will comes. Yeah, Jacek will come for sure
Good.
for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
But I will come to Paris on Tuesday, on Wednesday,
Oh,
because I have things to do there before
ah,
our festival.
okay. Interesting. I look forward to hear about that. Yeah. I expect I'll arrive Friday and then stay Saturday, Sunday, and then home Monday evening. But
Monday,
that's
yeah. I think I'll come back Tuesday. After that, we have vacations, and after vacations, we go to Madeira to Ram trip.
yeah. I keep hearing a lot about the Madeira Rumfest. I really want to go. I need to find the time one year to go. But Chris, you know how my schedule is.
This Madeira festival is super little bit.
Yeah.
They have 5 stands, and that's it.
It's not only to visit the festival; it's to visit the
Of
island.
course, yes. This is the main. Yeah, exactly.
And
But
see
every day we can finish on festival.
Yes.
And we will.
Perfect. Well, one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think about the rum?
This one I like. Really, really good.
We've got this name in Polish that is that says bimber, which is basically a moonshine. So yeah, I guess that many people can have some like think it takes a lot like a moonshine, but for me it in a very good way.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, the smell I thought it would be much powerful, but it's like a bit weaker, like a bit hidden. Like I have to put the nose very deep inside the glass to like take a deep breath with all those
all the flavor. Yeah. So if we ever do an SBS Origins Poland, we need to call it, what was it, Banaba Bimba?
Yes, a bimber.
So SBS Origins Bimber. I like it. Chris, find me a rum distillery in Poland that can make something interesting, and we'll make.
There's actually a whiskey called Bimber. I mean, I think
there is also
in
there is.
London,
in London, yeah.
From London, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, somebody already stole the idea, but doesn't mean we can't copy it.
You now asking me about some distillery in Poland. I know a few, so we can talk about that. But other guy asked me about Polish peat to do some peated rum.
Yeah.
From Poland, from Polish peat. So I have two things to do for now.
Okay. Well, I look forward to trying some of that in the future for sure. That will be interesting.
Yeah, you know this guy for sure. So
yeah, I have a good idea about who we're talking about for sure. Good. But yeah, guys, we're gonna step away from the Caribbean for a little while, and we're gonna be jumping to, well, it's wrong to say it's one of my favorites because I probably have 5 rum in the SBS Origins line that I would place at number 1. So to say one of my favorites, it's difficult, but nevertheless, here we go. We're going to go to Australia, and we're going to
Yes.
try the KLK, which comes from a very, 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 very tiny distillery called Killick. Now, this rum is truly unique. And if we're ever going to talk about moonshine or talk about something, then yeah, KLK is it. When people try this, there's a lot of people that don't even believe it's rum because of the flavors you find in here.
Exactly.
And they are truly unique. Now, I learned about this distillery from an Australian friend of mine who's also in the rum business. His name is Steve. He used to be the distiller at Beanley Rum Distillery and has since started the Sydney Rum Distillery, which is starting production in a few months. Now, he came to, it's about a year ago when he was in Europe, or more than a year, 2 years ago by now. He brought me some samples with him, and one of them was from the guys here at Killick. And we tried this rum, me and the team, and we were all like, what the hell is this? Is this rum? What is it? Tell me more. And we had a couple of calls with the guys from the distillery, and we ended up buying quite a bit of rum from them. Now, originally, Killick was more of a craft brewery. They made beer, and they actually turned some of their old brewing equipment into a pot still. They then decided that wasn't enough, and they looked towards Jamaica. And what they've created here is, even though this is very low ester, this only has around 35 esters, then this is an explosion of flavor. And it is created the same way that they create high ester rum in Jamaica. It's molasses, it's open fermentation for 5 weeks, it's the use of muck, it's the use of dunder, and then at the end, it's pot still distilled. Now, I don't know when they did the fermentation, if they did it next to a strawberry field, but for some reason, this tastes like strawberries. At the same time, there's like this milky element, so it almost becomes like a strawberry milkshake or strawberry yogurt, strawberry cheesecake, something, because there's this milky element. But the milky element also makes it so you get the feeling like when you're drinking it, it's slightly fatty, which makes it even more smooth. It makes it like this silky feeling on the tongue. But because of the strawberries, it also adds, and we talked about it with the malacatas earlier, it adds sweetness to it. So a lot of people actually thought that this had sugar added because of that sweetness. But obviously it doesn't. But it's something, this is really what I would say, when you try rums like this, then you understand, the range of what you can find of flavors within rum. This is the perfect example of it, where you can give people something and nobody will believe it's rum if they get it blind. Right now, it's the best seller in the series, and I completely understand why. It is amazing to drink neat, straight as it is. And of course, it works wonders in a daiquiri as well. But I can praise this rum for an hour more. I can praise all of the origins for a long time. I really want to hear your thoughts, guys. What do you think about it? And Chris, I don't want to listen to you because I know how you feel.
My favorite taste of the summer is the strawberries.
Yeah.
Strawberries with the cream.
Yes.
I eat it all days in June and July.
Yeah.
I love them. When I drink the Killick, I feel the same taste.
Yes.
It's very delicate and no alcohol in this rum. No alcohol. Smoothness, and this strawberries is absolutely amazing.
Strawberries and cream. I couldn't have said it better, Pedro.
Yeah.
I remember my grandmother always served me strawberries and cream every summer. And I made it for my wife just 3.
Great idea.
Yeah.
With cream. To be honest, during last daiquiri competition, Kilik was, I think, on the first place on my personal list. Both pure, just sipping on neat, and in the daiquiri.
Very good to hear.
That's all what I can say.
Yeah, well, you said everything, Dalek.
Yeah.
Everything you needed. Very good to hear. Very good to hear.
Joshua, you know what is the most problematic part of this?
No.
Like you have really great line of rams, and on Saturday, because it has become, the package came to me, and I know I will be late today. So I get like a few samples on Saturday, and all of them are great, but Kilik was destroying the rest. So this is problematic when you have such great rams, and then one is like, Iron Man of all of them. So it's destroying the rest. So everything that Piotr said about the strawberry cream and the summer is really, what else to say? It's like a pleasure. And the geeks will be there. They will be loving your work.
Yeah.
Daiquiri competition, as Chris will be saying, next summer is the next edition. So yeah, it's a pleasure, but Kilik is devastating the rest. So I need to know what you have tasted today to see what I didn't maybe try it on Saturday, but this is a pleasure. So thank you, guys.
And I'm afraid of
Beautiful
Chris's next daiquiri competition because I don't have any more ready. I don't have any new rum ready to enter in the competition.
Why?
I have one idea, but I need to think about it more. But I need to decide what to do. I think this and maybe next month. Because I thought to use 10 best rams from 3 last daiquiri competitions. I don't know, will I do that? I'm not sure now, but maybe yes, maybe not.
I think that's a very good idea.
Yeah.
Bring all the top 10 up against each other.
Top 10 from not only from the last one, but from the first edition, second edition, third edition.
Yeah.
So there will be there are really, really nice rams from all 3 competitions. So yeah, so maybe I'll do that. Maybe. So there will be Malacatos, there will be Kilik.
I think that is a very good plan, Chris.
Because these rams are still on the market, and they are still keeping a high quality, and not many new rams can be kind of competition for these ones.
Very true. Very true.
So yeah, this is my idea for now.
I think it's a brilliant idea, Chris. I really do.
Okay, so you decided now. Here's on the recording. Yeah.
I just checked, and Australia Kilik is not available in Polish store.
If not, there will be. If not,
it's just because it's sold out right now.
It's sold out. I just saw that, so I'm waiting for it because I just basically when I tried it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to the Polish website to Dunder store and just checking that sold out. I'm like, damn it. Okay,
I think it's not that. I think we just made a shipment for Poland within the last few weeks, and I'm sure it would have been in there. But
maybe this will go. Let's check in next week, or I can ask Patrick, not today, but tomorrow.
We'll push Patrick.
What about Malacatos? For sure, they are working for TK. No, TECC. I think. Yeah, TECC. because I need some bottles. I think they will come.
But of course, this is KLK from Virgin Oak. We have started aging it. This is like, I took this just before Christmas because I wanted to try it. So this is about 8 months old, thereabouts. And the strawberry, it's still there. It's extraordinary. I can't wait to try this. Like, let's see after the summer, especially if we get a hot summer, that really makes a difference for the aging here in Denmark. It's going to be really, really interesting.
Aged strawberries. It's interesting.
Exactly. But it's just nice rum. That's it.
Josh, maybe another stupid question. Single barrel selection means that you bottled rum from one specific barrel. So
yes.
I understand that it means that when we will buy and drink every bottle from this bottling, this rum will be not available anymore.
So for the standard SBS, these ones, those are the original SBS. Here, it's only the content of one barrel. So everything is between, there's 150 to 400 bottles of each. That's it. Only what is inside of one barrel. For the origins, because they're unaged, they've never seen a barrel. There are, you could say, unlimited of them.
Good news. Good news.
So don't worry, they're going to be there.
Great.
That's why we call it SBS Origins, because these are it's the origins of SBS.
Now I understand.
Everything you have here unaged, we also put down in barrels for future SBS. And that's why I have an aged Killick right here, because I needed to try it and try it to see what happens with it. I wanted to see if the strawberry flavor was still there, basically. That's what I wanted to see. And it still is there. If
we're
it's
waiting for
there, I don't know. Sorry,
we're waiting for aged bottle.
Give it 6 more months and then maybe we will bottle one. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah. But don't worry, so much other good rum will be coming no matter what.
No matter what.
But guys, now I suggest rinse your mouth. I was about to say with some water, but to be honest, you don't really have to, because what we're going to be trying now is going to make sure that all the flavors you had in your mouth is going to be gone no matter what. Because now we're going to have esters. And we're going to start with 2 long ponds. And here I will actually suggest that you have them side by side so you can see the difference. We need to start with the one called TECA, which stands for Tilston Estate Continental A. This signifies an ester count between 1200 to 1300. Now, on the side of that, you're going to pour the TECC, Tilston Estate Continental C, which is close to 1600 esters. The highest by law they are allowed to sell in Jamaica. Now, rums like these, these were never meant for drinking. They are not meant to be put in a glass and drink like we do. They were not even meant to be put in a cocktail, basically. They are made as flavor components. It's something that you could use when you were blending if you needed a little bit more flavor. It's something that was produced for food industry, where they would use it in foods and cakes. It's something that's used in the perfume industry, where it works as an aroma and flavor enhancer. but it was never meant to actually be drunken. Now, this came highest rum, 20 years ago. Nobody really knew what this was in Europe. Then slowly people started talking about it, but they didn't know really what it was. Now, it's not more than 8, 9 years ago. People were still confused about what highest rums were. And then slowly started coming, oh, a bottle there, and people started trying them, tasting them. And people were blown away because of the sheer intensity of the flavors. Classic flavors from it is, of course, tropical fruit. It's the Jamaican funk. It's that banana that is no longer green, yellow, but that we left for so long that it's become black almost. So it's fermented, rotting fruit, fresh sugarcane, and just tropical fruit flavors. Now, I want you to try them side by side because this is essentially almost the same rum. It's just the ester count that is different. But the production method to produce this is exactly the same. You just have the difference between 1,300 and 1,600 esters. Now, the Teca is sold out. I have no more of it in stock. I only have it in barrels now. So if you find it, well, Chris, I'm sure you have a hidden stash.
Listen, guys, when we talked with Joshua week or 2 weeks ago about this lineup, he asked me, am I sure to give you to try Teca because it's totally sold out, he don't have any more. And I decided, yes, I want to do that because I want to share with people. I want to, do some masterclass, some area to understand, yeah, how the rum can look like, they can taste like, and so I decided to do that, and I was totally sold out with this rum with Teca, and today, 3 hours ago, the courier came to my place and bring me 3 more bottles from the Germany.
You're lucky. I don't even have a bottle myself, Chris.
I can send you if you want.
Make one for me and let me have it later. No, I'm not worried.
I also have one open bottle.
But the price will be high.
Price will be, yes, exactly.
But it was no longer real, right?
It is our goal that we will bottle more of this in the future. But we need to remember Long Pond. Long Pond has had a troubled history in the past years. They had the fire that took down the whole fermentation hall. They've since then had problems with their recycling of the dunder, the muck, everything. And this has really slowed down production, specifically for the highest rum. This is the reason why we're out, because simply Long Pond has not been able to produce enough to actually deliver some for us. So it is the plan. We're going to bottle more of it in the future. I just don't know when. So that's how it is. So it might be, my guess will be, it will be a couple of years before we're able to bottle it again. And it's really a shame because, between the two, if I have to pick one myself, the Teca all the way. I think, in my opinion, that is 10 times better than the TECC. But that's my personal preference. So I really wish we had more, but, there are plenty of other white rums to drink, so it's okay. But guys, what do you think about them? Which one is best according to you?
So if we would talk about the smell, the version C is much, I would say, better. Yeah, I felt like in the shop with the flowers. Yeah.
Yep.
But comparing the taste, version A is much better. It's a I don't know why. Tasting better.
I think from my own point of view, it's like the A is more fruity in the taste. You get more of those tropical fruit tastes, where the C, it's the funk that has taken over.
Yeah. Very funky.
Totally agree. Exactly.
And so I'm looking for the experience with daiquiri on this one.
Yeah.
It might be really interesting.
It is definitely. Well, all of them are, but yes,
yeah,
sure.
You know what? I did one thing yesterday. I put only one drop of TECC because I didn't have Teka. Teka came today because I was totally empty. I put only one drop of TECC to 1 liter of water bottle, and it changed the profile of this water. Only one drop.
It's what I'm doing during our gigs. I have a bottle of water, and I put a little bit, maybe 5 milliliters of Jamaican rum to this bottle, and during a gig I drink it. So it's let we agree that there is no alcohol in this bottle, but I feel like I would drink the Jamaican rum. It's very funny experience, and people thinks which tried it. People think that during the gig I drink a rum, yeah, the pure one, let's say.
Brilliant. I need to try that. I'm gonna bring that in my water bottle for the office tomorrow.
Yeah, Joshua, and you will understand. Oh, Polish guys, yeah, rum with water, esters, great.
Well, this is one of the reasons why I like you Polish people. It's your appreciative of alcohol. It feels like home.
Sometimes some friend of me comes to my house and I pour him some rums to taste it because he didn't know the rums. And the last one, when I pour him, it's TECC or Long Pond is TCE. Yeah, it's the same level. And sometimes my friend tasted and, oh wow, guy, do you want to kill me? Yeah, it's not for every drinkers, yeah, but it's excellent. It's very, very hard.
It is, rum like these are unique, and I completely agree, Pedro. You can't pour them for everybody because some people you will scare them away.
Yeah, of course.
You give them something like this because
maybe it's better. Maybe it's better if you will scare them away because it will be more for us.
Yeah. But
I want to share with my friends.
This is dangerous. I remember I stopped doing that. What you Pedro said, to wearing some geek rams for my I don't know, guests or friends. When 2 years ago, not last year but the year before, Malacatos was a winner of the daiquiri competition. And one people asked me, Chris, can you do some cocktail for us? Of course I can. So I gave them Malacatos, daiquiri on Malacatos. Yeah,
the best.
The best for me, the best for many of people.
Malacatos is the drink of my child.
Oh, it's good. I saw their faces, So I know that they don't like it. So okay, so don't drink it. I'll do that. Give it to me. And I did for them daiquiri on Havana Club. And they told me, oh yeah, this is oh, I like this one. Yeah, they get a great cocktail. So like Pedro said, highest rams are not for everyone.
Yeah.
You have to go this way, step by step, and after that, maybe you like it or not.
True.
It depends.
But it's true. We need to remember that we are rum geeks. We're geeks. And what we drink is not what the ordinary or the normal people would drink.
Normal.
Yeah. Well, strange. Let's call them strange.
But if you will take like 70 to 80% of beer geeks to Rum World in 1 month, they will be loving this. Because for them it's easy to go from something casual to crazy because this is what they did. So
Exactly.
yeah, as Chris said, step by step, but this is the way you should go. If you would be staying with, because sometimes like, aged rum, why to bother? It's not the heart of the cane juice, so why to even have it as a rum?
Yeah.
It might be fine, but this series, the SBS Origins, this is how rum should taste. You should taste the whole like amount of taste and the smell you are able to get from all kind of cane juice, and it's rum. That is fermented love in the spirit. And we met in Berlin, like the whole gang of Christopher that we met in face-to-face meeting. And I bought this Malacatos bottle, and my son has been born on November. And I was drinking this bottle for 3 weeks because it was like I didn't need to drink so much, and it was like a pleasure. And I was like thinking, what I will do when it will be over. And this is why we have Chris for.
Exactly. That's very true. Well, then our job is there are 40 million people in Poland. And we are 37 who received a pack for this tasting. We need to convince the other 39 million to start drinking rum. That is our task for the next few
We
years.
will do it. We will do
I know. We will.
I'm trying still every day. I will just last weekend I just have a visit with my friend. I give them a few rums. Okay, maybe I was just a little bit too much push on this Jamaican one.
Yeah.
But that's still it's interesting in the in few of them. So we are trying. We are always trying.
Very good.
Keep up the good work, Jack.
Exactly. And we are going to get all of them in the end. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And yeah, guys, time. We have only one rum left to go. It's not the one with the highest esters, especially not compared to the ones we just had. The last one here has about 500 esters. It's made in a column still. And even though it's from Martinique, it's made on molasses. It is a style called, which is the French way of saying high ester. Now, I chose this rum to be put at the end because of the flavors. It is also a love it or hate it rum, I think, for most people. Even when I serve it at masterclasses, even with rum geeks, there's always people there who don't like this. And the way I find is usually best to describe it is with the flavors. Let imagine you're standing in the supermarket. You go down and you find the place where they have their olives. Then you find the cheapest glass of green olives with the red pepper inside. Then you take that glass of olives, you open it up, and you just do like that. With the vinegar, everything. That is how
vinegar is the answer.
It's vinegar, green olive, and a little bit of rotting fruit in there. I love this rum. It is extraordinary. It works well neat. It works extremely well in cocktails, specifically in a daiquiri, or use this as an element in your Mai Tai. Really, really works well. But the same with aging. When we start aging this, after 6 months, some of the barrels are ready. It works so fast in some of the barrels that it's truly, truly unique. But it is a very, very special kind of rum. And as well, was not meant for drinking originally. This is a flavoring. Now, I I work with a company in France that are the resellers of the rum that is produced at this distillery. And the girl that is head of their exports, I talk to her quite often. They own a number of different rum brands as well. So they've been in our 24 days of rum, our box that we make every year. They've been in there multiple times. And one day we have a conversation about this, and I place a rather large order of it with her. And she's a little bit confused. She's like, why do you want to buy that? I already sell a lot of this in Denmark. And like, well, I want to buy it to drink it. And she's like, drink it? Can you drink it? And I said, yeah, you can. Have you never tried it? No, we sell it for industrial purposes. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to try it. Let me send you a bottle of something we've aged. And I sent it to her, but she was confused. She had no idea that what is inside of this bottle is actually rum made for drinking as well, or that it can be drunk. She had plenty of clients for it, but all of them were either in the food industry or in some kind of industry where they needed this for aroma. But yeah, what do you think, guys? Do you like this kind of rum as well?
I love it. I'm just a lover of Clarin.
Yeah.
For me, it's just like an Haiti one, but even more fruity, more a longer finish is excellent one.
Yeah, good.
I can send here some Papalin Reunion. This is some hints for me, at least. So the French class.
Yes, and Michael, I will tell you where you get them from, because in the Papalin Reunion you have rum from the distillery of Savannah, and there is, to my knowledge, only 2 distilleries that make Granerol, and that is this distillery in Martinique, Le Gallion, and Savannah in Reunion Island. And if you try the Savannah bottling called Lontan, you will have, which is literally a copy of the flavors from here. They have exactly the same tasting notes, though they are slightly different. And they both taste like this vinegar, green olives, rotting fruit.
So at least I'm not bullshitter.
No, not at all. You're completely correct. That if you found that note there, that makes a lot of sense. Definitely.
Yeah. When I think Martinique, I think agricole. Yeah,
yes.
It's this rum is absolutely, for me, different than agricole.
Yes.
But I love them. I think it's the best smell of the SBS origins. The best one. The taste, maybe Kielik, maybe Malacatos, maybe Consuelo, but the smell is the best.
Good.
It's one of my 5 best SBS origins.
Good. very
Malacatos is better in case of smell.
I remember when Piotr first time tried this one, he told me, Chris, this is probably the best one for me from the whole range. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah. So yeah, I remember when we talked about that.
Good.
And the first time I've tried Jamaican rum, it was in Berlin at the Joshua stand. You leave me and told to Joshua, tell this guy something about the Jamaican rum. And Joshua looks at me and, okay, I show you something. And it
was
2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. I remember this
idea. I remember.
Because I have a lot of work to do.
Of course.
I
like
knew that
every year. Every year.
Chris, you had a lot of drinking to do, is what you mean.
You found a perfect teacher.
It's called how it's called? It's like a Masterclass possibilities. Boom.
Yeah. Oh well.
So it was.
But are you coming to Germany again this year, to Berlin?
Yeah, of course.
Good.
Definitely. And you should go with us, and Chris and Pedro and everyone that would like to join with us for Gelgor.
I'm afraid we will be in the bigger group this year.
Good. I look
Even
forward.
bigger?
I will be there, of course. So yeah.
Perfect.
We have been the biggest group, right, Christopher?
I'm not sure. I don't know everyone.
I think we have been. We have been like your mafia gang.
Czech Republic also have a big group of geeks. So they are traveling to France, to Germany,
etc.
So
there are more geeks in Czech Republic than in Poland.
Yeah,
so I think at German Rumfest that year, you were more people from Poland than from Czech Republic that year, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of the Czech people, they stay with the local festivals. And then you have a small group that will come to Paris, Berlin, and a few of the others.
Yeah.
But I think, go with Chris. It's important to see some of these other festivals because it can really open up your eyes to new rum that you would never have found in Poland. And then it's a great place to learn because you have so many ambassadors there talking about all the crazy details about the rum.
Exactly.
Some of us live in Szczecin. It's very, very near to Berlin.
Yeah.
Stettin.
Yeah.
But guys, that was it for my presentation for today. I know all of you. None of you finished all of the rum. I can see that. You look way too good. So I'm happy to see that you saved some of it. But guys, if there is any questions here at the end, then now is the time.
Yeah, I want to ask you about this last one, the Martinique.
No, Martinique. The last one?
Yeah, Martinique.
Yeah, Martinique.
Martinique. Yeah. So Legalion, is it the distillery there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So are they producing the rum only for the industry, not for the, let's say,
so
normal
Legalion it's primarily actually a sugar producer. But they do distill rum, and they actually also bottle under the name Legalion. So you can find bottles from the distillery, but it's very, very difficult to find. And you're not going to find, well, you can be lucky to find a few bottles in France from time to time, but it's very rare. But outside of France, you'll never find it.
There's a chance that I can find it on the shelf on the Martinique in the supermarket, let's say.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
No. Rather no, Darek. Rather no. You find it on independent bottlers, rather.
Yeah. That's the easiest place to find it. Yeah. But not many people are bottling it either. I'm one of the few that bottle rum like that.
The Rum Deluxe.
Also. Yeah, I know. But where did they get it from?
So may you say something about this aging version of this rum? Your one. Yours.
Say that again, Darek. Sorry.
I just wonder about the difference between the fresh one we've tried already and the aged ones. Bottled as a single barrel selection.
So what happens with this Martinique when it starts aging?
Yeah.
It becomes even better. That's the short question.
When do you release the bottles of this? When we get it? Please.
Yeah, well, you if you're lucky, you can find it in the market. It's been, I think the Whiskey Exchange will have one that is available right now. But that will, otherwise you need to be lucky to find one right now. But the Whiskey Exchange will have one because we bottled a single cask just for them of Legalion. So it's called French Antilles SBS. They have one. But this works really, really well in a barrel because it keeps the flavor of the olives, of the vinegar, of the rotten fruit, but the aging sort of elevates it. We've done a couple of versions where we use port casks and sherry casks, and those are truly great because it adds a sort of sweetness and an extra forest fruity note from the old wine, and it just works really well. But yeah, I think it's difficult to describe. It's something you need to try. But yeah, Dari, I'm gonna make sure to bring a bottle for Berlin if you remind me, and we can drink it together.
I'll be really happy. Doesn't matter what you will bring, just your company will be the best, let's say.
I will be there for sure. I very much look forward to it.
But please look me in the eyes and can you say that you really strong recommend to buy this French Antilles aged one?
From the Whiskey Exchange? Yes. 100%.
Call to your son, Derek.
It's an amazing bottling.
Okay.
Really, really amazing.
The question is why I'm asking, because everywhere on shelves in my on the free shelf in my home I have samples or bottles.
Yeah.
I own Chris a lot of money. and now I have a vital decision to buy the SBS French Antilles bottle or couple of the strawberry precious.
The strawberry.
Good. Well, the Killick, the strawberry, will be there all the time. The SBS here, French Antilles, is a single cask, so that's not going to stay there. I don't know how fast they're selling, but eventually they will be gone. Then there will be other editions, of course, but the one we bottled for the Whiskey Exchange was outstanding.
Great. So now I know the answer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But the problem is probably the Whiskey Exchange is not sending to Poland.
That's not a problem.
Not a problem.
They are sending to Christopher.
Exactly.
Okay, Chris. And now the question for the Chris, when you arrange the SBS tasting for the aged rams?
Next month.
Okay.
This month? This month?
Next one. March?
We are waiting for something with Joshua.
Okay.
So we will come back with the
right now you're
planning it.
Dales.
You said everything. Just say the
we
date.
talked already with Joshua about
Good
that.
Good news.
So probably in March, if not, then early April. Very early April.
We'll have another chat about it in this week, Chris, and then we'll finalize soon.
Okay.
Then we'll come out with a date.
Joshua, maybe something out of topic. I don't know if I can say that, but this is something that always came to my mind because I spoke to this definitely to Pedro Villanova, maybe also to Christopher, I don't know that. But my wife is buying me soap to the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
And I drink a lot of SBS, mostly SBS, not Origins, because Origins is like a really artistic way of showing how the etiquette of this should look like and how this precious liquor should be shooting. But SBS original versions, it's really easy. And then I'm going to the place where you're going to buy stuff for your bathroom, and they are having stuff like this. And then I'm seeing these colors, these pastel colors, and they have this one. They also have this one. And I said it to Pedro, this is like SBS. I'm going for soap, and this is SBS. And they're telling me, buy Malacatos, drink it. And this is like, it's crazy. So this is the bathroom soap I'm only buying because it's telling me, yes, SBS, SBS, SBS. So that's the pirate's tale.
I've had an idea to make some candles with SBS origin. So with this smell. So
anything that is
I talked
like
already with one woman, but let's see what the timer brings.
Be careful. It's alcohol, it burns, Chris.
I know.
But a good idea. Very good idea.
Yeah.
I need a few of them, that's for sure.
Okay. We'll talk about that. So, guys, Joshua, do you have any more questions to Joshua?
What's next? As usual, I ask you.
I know already, but I can tell you.
More rum. Well,
More rum.
Chris, the one I showed you, I don't know. I haven't tasted it.
Okay.
It arrived today, so I don't know. Let's see.
Let's see.
But yeah, I don't know. More rum, that's for sure. But what it will be, we'll have to wait and see.
We're waiting.
And let's make some trip to Joshua place. Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll think about it definitely. And
of course.
I will think definitely about some SBS tasting camp. Yeah.
We will work on that.
Perfect idea. I like this idea. Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
Do it.
Yeah. So Joshua, it was a pleasure. You know that I love you. So thank you very much for everything you've done and for all of your, your energy, your positive thoughts, everything. And that's it. So we will be in touch. I hope this week, and let's talk about our next meeting with you and Patrick, of course. I talked with Patrick already, and they are good with it. So let's do that.
Good.
And that's it. So thank you very much. Really, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And we are going to every day, every time when I'm doing a masterclass like this one, we are switching after the main part to this after meeting, to talk in Polish language. We are stopping recording and sharing on Facebook and spend some time with the guy here.
Very good idea.
Joshua, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, Joshua.
I'm going to leave you so you can speak in Polish. But as Chris said, I hope to see some of you again in maybe 2 months. Then we'll work on the aged version as well.
Yeah.
But me and Chris will speak more about it, and then it'll come up and Chris will tell all of you when we're going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
To meet you, this will be the Chris meeting that it was like this today, and also Wrocław, and then Berlin.
Wrocław, I won't be to Wrocław this year, actually.
Why?
Oh.
No, the Rumfest in Trnava is at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
And they booked me before I knew the dates of Rumloff. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But we have only 500 kilometers from Trnava to Wrocław.
Yeah, I think it's really a shame. They should be talking to each other, at least for the festivals that are that close to each other.
Joshua, your brother will be there in Trnava. But I'm not sure one day or 2 days. I'm not sure, and he thinks to move on one day to Wrocław. So maybe
that might be an idea. That might be an idea. We'll see.
And also change the date.
I can't help you because I will have that stand there probably. So I have to be.
But you can have SBS on your stand. Just do it properly.
We'll see. We'll
see. Joshua,
guys, have a wonderful evening, and I hope I get to see all of you again soon.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Joshua.
Dobrze, kochani, zatrzymujemy transmisję. Zatrzymaj, wyłączamy nagrywanie.